Hey everybody, it has been a long time since I did one of these, but I've been missing doing reviews. If you're new to this channel, I started out doing movie reviews and then I kind of fell off towards the beginning of quarantine. But now that there's some bigger movies coming back out, I think it's a good time to pick it back up. So, let's get right back into it. Bill and Ted Face the Music was directed by Dean Parisot and stars Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter reprising their roles as Bill and Ted. This sequel takes place around 20-ish years after Bill and Ted's bogus journey. Earlier in the franchise, Bill and Ted were told they would write a song that would unite the world. Some time has passed, and since then, the Wildstones still haven't written this song. The stakes are even higher when they learn that not only is this song supposed to unite the world, but also save reality as we know it. They go on an adventure with their daughters, Thea and Billy, to save their lives, their marriages, and reality before it's too late. This was one of the movies I was really looking forward to this year, but thanks to the pandemic, I wasn't able to watch it in theaters. In the last month, a few of the bigger movies that were scheduled to drop this year have come up with some unconventional release methods. Mulan is going to Disney Plus for $30, while Tenet and New Mutants are releasing in select US theaters in states where they say it's okay for them to open. At the time of me recording this review, my state has just cleared theaters to reopen, but my county hasn't. I was happy to hear that Bill and Ted was doing a theatrical and digital release, so I would be able to still see it, even though I couldn't go in the theater. Overall, I think this was a fun movie to end the summer, not that we had much of one anyway. I would say it's pretty much on par with previous entries, but I would still say Excellent Adventure is my personal favorite. Not only did Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter return, but also some of the creative team, including writers Chris Matheson and Ed Solomon. Revivals of old franchises are usually a hit or miss, but I think this is one of the times where it actually works. In terms of tone and style, Bill and Ted Face the Music fits right in with the other movies. It has the wackiness, the heart, and the laughs that the franchise is known for. You can tell the people behind this movie really care about the characters and story, and that passion definitely shines through. So what worked? First off, performances. Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter definitely bring their A-game as the older versions of their characters. When you think about who Bill and Ted are, it makes sense that they didn't change that much when they grew up. They're married and have kids, but they're still musicians trying to kickstart their career, and they still speak the same way they did back in the 80s. On top of that, they raised their daughters, Thea and Billy, to be exactly like them. Thea and Billy are played by Samara Weaving and Bridget Lundy-Paine, respectively. These girls do a great job basically playing the female versions of Bill and Ted. Even though they are doing somewhat of an impression, I think they are still able to make these characters their own. Honestly, there isn't one bad performance here. Everyone knows exactly what movie they're in. I do want to give a special shout out to Jeremiah Kraft and Kid Cudi, who I definitely think were some of the standouts in terms of supporting characters. Next up, the visuals. Bill and Ted Face the Music has the highest budget of all three movies, and it shows. They were really able to pull off some crazy VFX, costumes, makeup, and set design. The CGI was pretty good, especially when they time traveled using the newer time machine. There's also a robot played by Anthony Carrigan that has a crazy practical costume. Other franchises would have probably made him CGI, but I'm glad they didn't here because it really works. Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter are also really able to play around with different versions of Bill and Ted. The makeup and costume department really went off with these. With the bigger budget, they're really able to go all out in terms of time travel hijinks. Along with Bill and Ted, we also see their daughters go on their own adventure, which takes them to some really cool settings through time and space. Lastly, the movie actually had several things going on at once, but I think Dean Parisot, along with the writers, did a pretty good job of balancing these different stories. First, there's Bill and Ted going on their adventure through time to find this reality-saving song. Then there's their daughters going on their own adventure to try and help their dads. And then there's their wives going on their own journey where they're reevaluating their relationships with Bill and Ted. Along the way, there is also some stuff with Kristen Shaw's character from the future. I'm not going to spoil who she is in case you don't want to know. There are also some nice callbacks and references to moments from previous movies which I enjoyed. All of the stories get their time to shine, and I think it all culminates in a spectacular finale. Things that could have been better. Although I do think they did a good job of balancing all the stories happening here, I would say the one involving the wives is probably the weakest. Gemma Mays and Erin Hayes have good performances as the princesses, and the payoff was cool, but I was more interested in Bill and Ted's adventure as well as Billy and Thea's. I also think Deacon and Missy's characters were kind of just there. It is kind of part of a joke they make towards the beginning, but after that, they're just kind of floating around and they occasionally appear here and there. The verdict. I think Bill and Ted Face the Music is a great time. This is what I want to see when movies come back after a long time, like when a franchise comes back. I think this was very faithful to the style and the tone of the original movies, but they were able to bring it up a notch. I love the new characters they introduced. Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter were great in the movie, of course, as Bill and Ted. They weren't phoning it in. You can see they're really committed to these characters and really love these characters. I really think this is a fun summer movie, again, even though we don't have much of a summer, but I definitely recommend watching this one if you get the chance. It's available on VOD, so you can rent it on Amazon Prime or iTunes, wherever you get your movies from. Definitely worth checking out. So what did you think of Bill and Ted Face the Music? Let me know down in the comments. Also, don't forget to like this video, share it, and subscribe. Also, don't forget to hit the bell so you know when I post new videos. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one.